Hey everybody, it's Kim and welcome back to another episode of Empower, which is a faith-based women's empowerment initiative. Our goal is to empower, enlighten, embolden women to be everything that God created us to be, in spite of all the pressure and things that we experience that can cause us to kind of shirk away from those things. But my goal each week is to kind of encourage us and push us along. As I encourage you, I am encouraging me. And I'm so glad that you decided to tune in. If this is your first time, welcome. If you have been here before, sis, welcome back. We're family now. Let's get right back into the episode. And today, what we're going to talk about is visibility versus significance, and how so often those two things are interchanged erroneously because they're not the same thing. So often I think women, especially in a space of social media or even just life, the things that we try to do as women, especially when we're first starting, can seem highly insignificant. And a lot of the reason that we can believe that things are insignificant is because we have low visibility. What do I mean by that? Take this, for instance. And what I am going to discuss here now is not by any means like a pity me kind of situation or story. This is just a true fact that can be verified if you want. One of the main concerns that I had and still actually low-key kind of have about doing this is low visibility. Because I'm not talking about the things that are popular. I'm not talking about necessarily the things that get a lot of attention, or I'm not talking about it from a standpoint that people want to hear it or that people gravitate to. And by people, I mean masses. I don't mean that it's not for anybody and nobody can appreciate it. But the fact that I can put out videos and they get no views whatsoever. I continually experience that. Or somebody might just like the picture that I post with the video and never watch it. Or I have a certain amount of followers or subscribers, depending on which platform, and it doesn't really move or grow. And I was struggling with that. And it wasn't that I was struggling with it because I'm trying to, this is a money move for me or anything like that. It's because I know that God gave this to me to do. He gave me the name for Empower. He gave me all of that, because this wasn't what I was going to do. I definitely wasn't going to be creating any type of visual component to any content, because I cannot stand being immortalized on camera. I don't like pictures. I don't like videos of myself. It's just the way that it is. So I know these things that I'm doing continually and consistently blocking out this time on Mondays to shoot, to upload, to pray about what I'm going to talk about. All of those things that I do, it can really begin to feel as if though it's insignificant. When the truth of the matter is, the content, whenever anybody clicks on it, I believe it will help them. Whenever anyone watches the video all the way through, I believe they'll learn something. When somebody takes the time to have a discussion after watching it with their children or their friend group, or just reflect and meditate on it themselves, I fully believe, and it's not because it's me putting it out. It's because I do pray about these things, and I believe that what God has given me, it will help someone. And I was praying and talking to God about it, and I was like, okay, this is discouraging, because if we're honest, when we're trying to get something done and we know that there's merit and value to it, and it's not being well received, or maybe not received at all, it can be daunting. We can honestly decide that we're going to stop doing it. And like I said, it doesn't have to just be this. It could be writing a book, or volunteering somewhere, mentoring, so many different things. And we can feel like, man, this isn't going anywhere. I'm not getting any traction. This isn't. But what God helped me to see is we often, especially those of us who are, saved Christians, believers, followers of Christ, disciples, whichever word you want to use, we hear the thing about, praying and believing and having faith, and then planting, and then we hear about increase and all of these things. But oftentimes what we miss in that is that God gives increase. So we can't be the one chasing down the increase. That isn't to say that we shouldn't put out something excellent. That isn't to say that we shouldn't give it our best and be consistent and do all, because that is necessary. But our job is to plant and or water. The increase is going to come from God. And what God shared with me was, you just make sure what you're saying is significant, that it can help challenge someone to see themselves the way that I want them to, the way that I know that they are. You put out something that has been helpful to you in your journey of coming to where you are as of today. So I know it can feel like there's no point. And at one time, I did take some time off, because I was like, it's not like anybody's missing what I'm doing, because no one's really paying attention. But the person that called me to do it is paying attention. And so I am committed to doing this regardless if it never gains traction, if it never becomes a huge thing, if it's not about that for me. And I had this conversation with my dad about one person, about how important one person is. And his viewpoint differed from mine. My whole thing is, every single one, if it's really, and I've heard people say this, if I do it for one person and I change, but that's what significance is, as opposed to visibility. Significance. Because how many of you can remember the name of a teacher that said something that was instrumental? They believed in you, or they pushed you, or they told you you were good at this or that. If not a teacher, then a friend or somebody from your childhood that believed in you, that said something that even if they didn't say it directly to you, there was something about what they said that stuck with you. There are people who make impact on our lives. If I can do that one person at a time, that's amazing. Because the point of it is, everybody doesn't have somebody in their immediate circle, in their immediate family, in their immediate neighborhood community that is encouraging them, that is trying to help, that is trying to push them forward. Everybody doesn't have that. And so if I can be that to one person, and then that one person turns around and is that for someone else, and then that person is that for someone else, that one thing that I did has now impacted at least 3 people. And this is something that I stand on and say all the time. Once you've heard what I've said, you can't unhear it. Once you know something else, you can't unknow it. So whether or not I ever get any accolade, any follow, any share, any subscriber, which I still do want y'all to do, whether or not it happens at the speed that I want or the amount that I ever want, I really, because it's what God has given me to do, because it is my purpose, I know that He will add increase. But no matter how long it takes, I've said this on one of these videos before, probably more than one, I'm going to keep doing it. I'm not going to let it fall down to the ground because I'm not seeing a result as fast as I want, because my visibility isn't as high, because people tend to gravitate more maybe towards beauty videos, or it just depends on what a person is looking for at that time in their life, that they search out and seek out that content. That's fine, because I do the same thing. So it's not that I don't understand it. It's not that I don't get it. It's just that sometimes being the person experiencing a lack of visibility, that can be difficult. And I just want to encourage you to do whatever it is that you know that you're supposed to do. If you're writing a book and it's not gaining traction, if you're doing a blog and it's not growing, if I don't know what you could be doing, are doing, what you should be doing. If it's not gaining traction, I want to encourage you to continue to push, because what you are passionate about, what you are called to do, what your purpose is, God will make that thing grow in time. When it's the right time for you, when it's the right time for the whomever, God is in control. That's His business, the increase. Our business is to make sure that we plant and water. So each video that I post, each thing that I upload on Instagram, brain fart, it's not just pointless. It's not just something that I feel like doing, that is just a fleeting thought. It's on purpose. And no matter when or who, and this is the other thing, you may never know how many people are impacted by what you say, because everybody doesn't come back and say, that was awesome, thank you for sharing. Everybody doesn't do that. Sometimes they just grab it and go and be like, that was clutch, I needed that. But just be sure that your intent is right, that your intent is to help, that your intent and your content and whatever you're doing comes from love. That is what God has called you to do. And leave the rest. The visibility will come. I fully believe that. The increase will come. I fully believe it. But just be consistent. Know that if you're putting out quality content, if you're living a life that is authentic and that is real and that is worth hearing and seeing, just keep doing it. And however, don't let that influence how consistent you are. How sometimes people are like, well, I'll just throw that out there. Ain't nobody paying attention anyway, so it doesn't really need to be perfect. It doesn't really need to be excellent. No, I have upgraded equipment. I am getting backdrop stuff. I'm doing this thing for when it does happen. I'm doing this because God gave it to me, and anything that He gives me, I'm not going to do half-heartedly. I'm going to do it in the most excellent way that is possible for me at the moment. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to keep doing it. And so I just want to encourage you to keep going. Be significant. Visibility will come. You be significant, of impact, of worth, of value. And somebody will take notice. The right person at the right time will take notice. So, having said all that, if you do want to see any of this content, you can watch it here on Facebook, facebook.com/empower, MPOWHER. On Instagram, empower540, MPOWHER540. On YouTube, you have to type in empower, MPOWHER, and the video will be there as well. So thank you so much. I upload every Monday. I am located in Germany, so the times may be different depending on how the internet wants to act. Today is kind of a cloudy, overcast day, so it might take a little longer for the video to come up, but it's going to be up. And if you enjoy it, like, share, comment, subscribe, follow, do all the things. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.